Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome all to our live webinar show for the day. So today we're going to keep it very simple. I'll keep it in a mix of Hindi and English both, so that it's comfortable to everyone. And we'll keep the entire show on understanding how to address the data patterns. From not required from any fancy softwares rather, and let's understand from basic NSE website and everything how we can exactly understand those options, data patterns, and ultimately how it will help us in understanding the trend for the market. Right, so let me begin. I'll take you through step by step. I'll navigate you through everything, and I'll just share my screen. Just give me 1 second. Right, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone. And just in case it's not, you can perhaps drop me a comment on the chat and let me know that it's not visible, right? So this is a basic NSE website. I'll just hide everything. So this is a basic NSE website, right? So I don't require any fancy softwares to understand the market trends. आज के इस सेशन में I will only take you through understanding of the basic option chain, call, put, open interest additions. A week back, we had conducted a webinar where we try to make our viewers understand the basics of what is call option, what is a put option, what is your option chain, and what is open interest. So combined all of that put together, how all these parameters join hands in under giving us a feedback of how the market trend is going to be. So this is exactly, you can just go to nseindia.com, or what you can simply do is you can just type for NSE option chain. It'll navigate you through the NSE India website. So here you can see it is giving us the option chain. It by default will open you or take you to Nifty's option chain, right? You can see today's data right now. Nifty spot is at 18,708 spot price that is going on. In front of you, we've got call and put options. This is known as your entire thing is known as your option chain. Left hand ke side mein, you can see this is your calls option chains, and right hand side mein, you can see this is your put option chain. There are a lot of various parameters. You can see there's something called OI, then there's something called change in OI, volumes and stuff. But इतना complicate हम नहीं रखेंगे. We'll just understand कि open interest क्या होता है, फिर change in open interest OI क्या है. This OI stands for open interest. And call और put में अगर open interest ये दो columns में हमें कुछ numbers दिख रहे हैं, तो how does it help us to understand the market trend? So here you can see in the middle is all your strike prices, right? So strike prices are just your different contract prices where you can select or understand where the market is heading out to, and accordingly you can take a position in one of these strike prices. But that's a little way ahead. Understanding how to take a which strike, we'll come to that. Let us first simply understand what is your open interest before we go into details. So open interest, as the name suggests, it is all to do with your number of contracts that are kept open. For example, if you and I we are trading, मान लीजिए कि आज हम दोनों hypothetical example में we are trading in Nifty. आपने भी buy की है, मैंने भी buy की है, but जाते जाते मैं अपना position काट के जा रही हूँ, आप अपनी position open रख रहे हैं. So in your case, it becomes an open interest, right? Your contract is kept open, but I've cut down my positions. So likewise, during a day, कितने buyers आ रहे हैं, कितने sellers आ रहे हैं, and कितना trade हो रहा है एक contract में, overall वो सब plus minus होने के बाद we understand कि open interest उसको we term it as open interest, कि कितने contracts या कितने positions open रह गए हैं. Now why is it important? See, understand from the very basic level. Understanding why open interest is important. When you have kept a position open, it means कि you are still expecting stock में और भी कुछ movement आ सकती है, right? So that's the reason why you have kept your position open. Now, if I am smart enough, I can analyze that you have kept your position open, whether on the higher side of the price or a lower side of the price. I can understand कि stock ऊपर नीचे की मूवमेंट कैसे दे सकती है. So this is your basic open interest. So जितना numbers बढ़ते जाता है, ये OI कॉलम में उतना हमारे लिए बेटर है. जितना ओपन इंटरेस्ट माइनस में आपको नजर आएंगे फिगर्स, दैट वुड बी we'll have the interpretation. It's not negative exactly, but ideally people are exiting from the positions. Now let us understand. So you can see calls and put open options. This entirely, again, it's known as your option chain. Very important for you would be to only focus on these two columns of every strike price. But यहाँ पे तो बहुत सारी strike prices हैं, इतना तो सब में याद रखने के it is not possible for us. So हम क्या करेंगे, जैसे कि मैंने यहाँ पे you can see कि निफ्टी की स्पॉट चल रही है 18,708 पे. So हम यहाँ पे सिर्फ जो जहाँ भी स्पॉट लेवल चल रहा है उसके आगे दो वाली स्ट्राइक्स देखेंगे और उसके नीचे वाली दो स्ट्राइक्स हम कंसिडर करेंगे. So if 18,700, this is where your spot is. So I should consider only this in a particular strike price. Just a second. Sorry. Right. So now let us understand. 18,700 की strike में आपको call option भी दिख रहा है, आपको put option भी दिख रहा है. Now you can see there are some numbers attached to it. If I see 18,700 call option, you can see my OI, which is my open interest for this particular strike, is giving me a figure of 2.85 lakh. It's in contracts. पहले NSE की साइट में shares में आते थे, अभी contracts में convert हो गए हैं. So this is actually 2.85 lakh contracts open. Now if I see the same thing on the put side, this is right side is my put side. So if I see 18,700 की put में, I have 3.05 lakh contracts. So this is my total open interest for this strike price. Now which is heavier? Put side में ज़्यादा positions है OI की या फिर call में? आपको दिख रहा है कि obviously put में ज़्यादा है because 3.05 ज़्यादा है than 2.85. अभी हम इसको interpret कैसे करेंगे? अगर मान लीजिए कि पुट में आपको ज्यादा ओपन इंटरेस्ट या OI, जो शॉर्ट में हम बोलते हैं, अगर आपको वो ज्यादा एडिशंस होते हुए नजर आ रहा है, सो इन दैट केस व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि वी इंटरप्रेट द ट्रेंड की मार्केट में या फिर वो पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक में सपोर्ट बन रहा है. जितने भी ओपन इंटरेस्ट पुट के साइड में ऐड होते हैं वो सपोर्ट की तरफ से बनते जाते हैं. वो सपोर्ट बन रहा है, इट इज एडिंग एज अ सपोर्ट फॉर यू. दिस इज हाउ वी इंटरप्रेट. Just the contrary position would be your open interest adding on the call side. If you can see 18,700 call options are showing more of your open interest additions, it means कि वो resistance बन रहा है. उस level पे market में हो या indice में हो या फिर आपके spot में हो, stock में हो, that level becomes your resistance for the day. So this is your overall open interest. Now if I look at it, I've understood what my overall open interest means. But how do I understand कि आज के दिन के लिए it is better or not? आज जाते जाते ये 3.05 on the put side may remain 3.05, it may become 3.5, you never know. But how do I understand कि आज के दिन में additions हो रही है कौन से side में? This is my total like entire week में जितना भी मुझे all the additions that have happened, this is my entire week's position. If I only have to look at today's intraday, then I have to come to the next column which is called as your change in OI. Your change in OI, you can see the highlighted version. It's the same strike again. 18,700 की पुट में अगर आज के दिन में मैं देखने जाऊं, so आज के दिन में ही 1.78 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऐड हो चुके हैं. So out of 3.05, आज के ही दिन में 1.78 lakh contracts have added. Similarly, on the contrary, if I have to compare it with my calls data, call 18,700 call में hardly 1,182. So which side is heavier? Obviously, this is heavier. 1.78 lakh is more than 1,182 contracts. Now what does it interpret? It interprets that आज के दिन के लिए 18,700 की एक अच्छी सपोर्ट बनते जा रही है. Nifty should hold say 18,700 as a strong support. Now will this one particular strike be enough for me to understand whether this is good enough or should it not? Like perhaps not. We'll also have to look at 2 more strikes ऊपर and 2 more strikes नीचे. So if you can see 18,600 भी हम एक बार कंपेयर करके देख लेते हैं. 18,600 के पुट में टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट अगर हम देखेंगे तो इसमें बन गया है 2.71 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, विच इज अगेन वेरी हाई एंड वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग नंबर. सेम चीज अगर मुझे कंपेयर करना हो 18,600 की कॉल में, देन इट इज ओनली 1.25 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. सो ज्यादा कौन से साइड में है? Obviously 2.71 is more than your 1.25, so put wins again. Now when you are seeing continuously कि आज के दिन में 18,600 put is winning, then 18,600 call, 18,700 put is also winning above 18,700 call, then in this case what should be my interpretation? Put में open interest ज़्यादा बढ़ रहे हैं intraday में भी and total open interest की positions में भी. It is interpreting that your market is finding a very strong support around 18,600, 18,700, multiple supports वो पकड़ते आ रहा है. This is how you interpret very easily of what option chain gives you. Now next, if I have to look at the ऊपर वाला एक strike ले लेते हैं 18,800 अगर हम देखते हैं. So 18,800 की पुट ऑप्शन में ओवरऑल अगर मैं देखने जाऊं तो सिर्फ 71,000 की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स बनी हैं और उसमें से भी आज के दिन में 45,000 तो आज के ही दिन में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऐड हुए हैं. सिमिलर अगर मैं 18,800 में अगर मैं चेक करूं तो ऑब्वियसली 18,800 की कॉल ऑप्शन है, टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट ज्यादा है विच इज 1.76 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. आज के दिन में शायद कुछ ज्यादा नहीं एडिशंस हुए हैं विच इज हार्डली 7,000. So overall if you see, if I have to compare total open interest versus total open interest, then obviously 18,800 की call is it's stronger than your 18,800 put. So 18,800 call में है आपके 1.76 lakh contracts versus your 18,800 put contracts of 71,000 contracts only. So इसमें how do we interpret? पुट की पोजीशन ज्यादा नहीं है बट कॉल की पोजीशन ज्यादा है. सो इन दिस केस रेजिस्टेंस मेरा थोड़ा यहाँ पे स्ट्रॉन्ग है, यानी कि निफ्टी का शायद नेक्स्ट रेजिस्टेंस 18,800 पे जाके बन सकती है फॉर द डे एंड परहैप्स पोजिशनल भी प्ले कर सकता है. बट हाउ डू वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट? आज के डे में इज इट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मी टू अंडरस्टैंड कि 18,800 पे जाके रुकने वाला है निफ्टी या फिर उसको क्रॉस भी कर सकता है? इफ दैट आई हैव टू एनालाइज देन आई मस्ट कम टू द नेक्स्ट कॉलम, दैट इज माय चेंज इन ओपन इंटरेस्ट. भले ही 18,800 की कॉल ऑप्शन की टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट इज हायर देन माय टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट फॉर 18,800 पुट, बट इंट्राडे में अगर मैं ऑप्शंस देखने जाऊं जो आज के डे में एडिशंस बन रही है तो वो 18,800 की कॉल ऑप्शन में ज्यादा नहीं दिख रहा है मुझे एडिशंस, बट आई कैन सी अ लॉट ऑफ एडिशंस हैपनिंग इन 18,800 पुट. इवन दो मैं टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट इज लेस देन द कॉल साइड, बट सिंस आज के डे में इंट्राडे पोजीशंस बन रहा है, इट मींस द बुल्स जो हैं दे आर फाइटिंग और थोड़ा और ऊपर हम खींच लें और थोड़ा ऊपर सपोर्ट खींच ले. 18,700 अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग होल्ड कर रहा है, स्ट्रॉन्ग उसमें भी पोजीशन हम बना ले और थोड़ा 1800 800 में भी पोजीशन बना ले ताकि वो मार्केट और थोड़ा ऊपर खींच सकता है. ऑब्वियसली एंड ऑफ द डे ये नंबर्स आपके अलग हो जाएंगे या फिर चेंज हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज एंड ऑफ द डे में लाइक आई सेड आप भी बाय कर रहे हो, मैं भी बाय कर रही हूँ, बट जाते जाते मैं अपनी पोजीशन square off करके जा रही हूँ and you are still holding on to your position. So that gets calculated at the end of the day. So +1 -1 then it will become, it get negated. So that's how ये जो numbers है ये आपके change हो सकते हैं. शायद जाते जाते आज जो आपको दिख रहा है 18,700 की पुट में 1.8 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स बने हैं, मतलब बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है. प्रोबेबली वो जाते जाते 1.8 ना रह जाए, सिर्फ 80,000 भी रह सकता है या फिर 1 लाख भी हो सकता है. बट देन अगेन यू हैव टू डू द सेम एक्सरसाइज. यू जस्ट हैव टू कंपेयर द पुट वर्सेस योर कॉल ओपन इंटरेस्ट एडिशंस. अगर यहाँ पे मेरा ज्यादा फिगर मान लीजिए 1 लाख भी रह जाता है, 80,000 की जो यहाँ पे एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स दिख रहे हैं शायद वो जाते जाते हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल वो स्क्वायर ऑफ करके जा रहे हैं, बट साइमल्टेनियसली मेरी 18,700 की कॉल में यहाँ पे आपको -3085 दिख रहा है, मतलब कि 3,000 की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स फॉर द डे हैव ऑलरेडी cut down their positions. We call it unwinding, we call it shedding of open interest, you can name it in various ways. अगर ये 3,000 मान लीजिए कि आज और -20,000 हो जाता है सो इट मीन्स कि जाते जाते लोगों ने और भी पोजीशंस अपनी काट ली है और पुट में ज़्यादा पोजीशन बन गए हैं, तो लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि मार्केट की सपोर्ट यहाँ पे 18,700 पे अच्छा सपोर्ट बन सकता है, एंड दैट इज हाउ मार्केट प्रोबेबली ये सपोर्ट लेकर और थोड़ा ऊपर जाने की इट कैन ट्राई टू अटेम्प्ट टू ब्रेक द नेक्स्ट रेजिस्टेंस लेवल दैट वी कॉल इट, right? So this is how your open interest and option chain is understood. Of course, there are a lot of other columns also you can see, such as volume, IV, but let's not complicate your first session of understanding the option chain. We are going to keep it very simple. I hope this is till now at least it is clear with you, and if you have to understand कि ये numbers कैसे change हो रहे हैं, तो आपको ये चाहे तो आप इसको टाइम टू टाइम रिफ्रेश कर सकते हैं। जैसे देख लीजिए अभी 5 मिनट में हमने ये ऑप्शन चेन को रिफ्रेश किया है। लेट अस लुक एट द फ्रेश डेटा। फ्रेश डेटा में निफ्टी इज अगेन शोइंग कि निफ्टी वहीं पे है, फ्लैट 18,705 पे ही है, हार्डली 2-3 पॉइंट ऊपर नीचे हुआ है, दिस नथिंग एट ऑल, निफ्टी इज कंप्लीटली फ्लैट। बट 5 मिनट के डेटा में व्हाट हैज हैपेंड टू माय ओपन इंटरेस्ट डेटा, 18,700 में इफ यू रिमेंबर देयर वर 1.80 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, अभी 1.82 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हो गया है। कॉल के साइड में 3,000 आई थिंक 3,085 वो द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स जितना अनवाइंड हुआ है, अभी और एक्स्ट्रा 400 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स अनवाइंड हो गए हैं 5 मिनट के डिस्टेंस में। सो यहाँ पे हमारी ये माइनस फिगर बढ़ती जा रही है, मतलब अनवाइंडिंग हो रही है ऑफ ओपन इंटरेस्ट, और यहाँ पे हमारी पोजीशंस दैट यू कैन सी ऐड होते जा रहे हैं। सो इट मींस दैट people are playing for a stronger support at 18,700 and they are expecting that this index should probably bounce from current levels also. So this is how my open interest is to be understood for the day. This is your live option chain. If you want Nifty, you can look at various indices. You can look at Fin Nifty, you can look at Bank Nifty, you can look at Mid Cap Nifty also. Similar interpretation, similar way of understanding. If I just go to Bank Nifty, you can see Bank Nifty is currently quoting at 44,021, which is your spot price. तो हम एक 44,000 में भी आज देख लेते हैं क्या चल रहा है ओपन इंटरेस्ट के एडिशंस। लाइक यू कैन सी 44,000 स्ट्राइक पुट साइड में, यू कैन सी मेरा टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट जो है दैट इज 3.05 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स 44,000 पुट में। बट उसके अगेंस्ट में अगर मुझे कंपेयर करना है 44,000 की कॉल में इट इज ओनली 2.64 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। तो यहाँ पे who's the winner? Clearly, obviously 44,000 put is the winner. This is my overall total interest, total open interest at positions. अगर सिर्फ इंट्राडे में देखना है then I'll come to the change in open interest column. Again 44,000 की पुट में आज ही दिन में सिर्फ 3 घंटे के अंदर ही 1,12,000 की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऐड हो गए हैं 44,000 पुट में। उसके अगेंस्ट अगर हम कंपेयर करने जाएं तो 44,000 की कॉल में अभी भी 32,000 ऑड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स पोजीशंस बिल्ड हुआ है, अनवाइंडिंग हुआ नहीं है अभी तक। Now how do you interpret this? निफ्टी में तो क्लियरली हमको यहाँ पे अनवाइंडिंग दिख गई थी, तो वी कुड अंडरस्टैंड कि चलो निफ्टी में कॉल राइटर्स अपनी पोजीशन खाली करके नेक्स्ट स्ट्राइक में प्रोबेबली जाएंगे। बट यहाँ बैंक निफ्टी में ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है। बैंक निफ्टी में भले ही मेरी पुट की पोजीशंस ज्यादा है बट कॉल में मुझे अनवाइंडिंग तो दिख नहीं रही। Call me, I can still see people are holding on to their positions, right? So in that case, do I say that 44,000 call options में अभी भी positions बनी है? So it means that आज के डे में थोड़ा फाइट चल रहा होगा around 44,000 level for Bank Nifty. Plus minus 50 points is okay, you can do that. So as long as this number keeps holding or this is steady, you can understand that 44,000 put is still adding a lot of open interest and additions and it is doing well. 44,000 call options में unwinding है नहीं, but थोड़ा बहुत इसलिए शायद intraday resistance you could be seeing, but if it's able to होल्ड ऑन टू दिस पोजीशन या फिर कॉल में ज्यादा एडिशंस बनते जा रहे हैं ड्यूरिंग द डे, देन शायद बैंक निफ्टी को प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है वो ऊपर वो सपोर्ट ऑफ 44,000 होल्ड करने में। दैट इज हाउ इट कैन एक्चुअली इंटरप्रेटेड फॉर द डे। 44,000 के नेक्स्ट वाली भी अगर हम देख लें 44,100 की पुट ऑप्शन में, देन आई कैन सी 1.29 लाख कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आज के डे में वी कैन सी एडिशंस हैव हैपेंड, राइट. सो दिस इज 1.29 lakh contracts for today at 44,100 versus 1.06 lakh contracts in 44,100 call. Now what does this interpret? Put में people are trying to hold on to a lot of positions. They are trying to build that support. 44,000 में hold करे तो हम अगला पार 44,100 पे भी also we can perhaps move. बट कॉल में अनवाइंडिंग दिख नहीं रही है, कॉल में भी पोजीशंस बन रहा है. सो इट मीन्स कि कॉल राइटर्स जो हैं, जो रेजिस्टेंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं बैंक निफ्टी के लिए, वो भी पोजीशन देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. सो नीदर द कॉल राइटर्स नॉर द पुट राइटर्स आर रेडी टू एग्जिट देयर पोजीशंस, बट अल्टीमेटली ओनली वन कैन विन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. इट विल ईदर break at 44,000 level and go down, or it will have to break 44,100 and come up. So that's the reason why you can see Bank Nifty is still quoting at शांत बैठा है 44,034 पे ही है, hardly 10 points की movement you can see. This is happening. What would be important is for you to understand during both the days, if you keep on refreshing this data every half an hour, you can remember and note down, कि अभी if I note down कि 44,000 put has shown 1.16 lakh contracts, whereas call has shown 38,000, थोड़ा बढ़ गया है. I think it was at 32,000 और 6,000 के contracts बढ़ गए हैं. So this is how you have to remember. Every half an hour, every 1 hour, you have to keep refreshing the data. You have to understand कि मेरे put में position ज़्यादा हो रहा है या call में position ज़्यादा हो रहा है. So likewise, when you understand whichever side is getting the heavier additions or the maximum open interest concentration, my support or resistance is going to be formed accordingly. So it is either going to be put में अगर हो रहा है, so it's going to be a good support for me. अगर call की side में हो रहा है, it is going to be a resistance for me. It is that simple to understand. The only thing that requires is for you to be religious in understanding and analyzing, refreshing this data, perhaps even memorizing this data, or every half an hour and 1 hour to understand कि market का trend कहाँ हो रहा है, जहाँ कहाँ जा सकता है. So that is how you'll be able to grasp it a lot quicker. अगर आप सिर्फ मॉर्निंग में ही एक बार देख छोड़ देंगे, फिर सोचेंगे कि मैं आके डे एंड पे देख लूंगी, तो then in that case what will happen is you may be missing out on your intraday positions. Right, so we have to compare both the indices now that we have seen Bank Nifty and Nifty. So what is it showing you clearly? Let us look at Nifty again. So Nifty is clearly showing me, although it has moved by hardly 4-5 points, but Nifty is clearly showing me that strength is better in Nifty, as my put additions in Nifty current strike prices or at the money strike prices is holding better than my call positions, because call में absolute unwinding चलते जा रहा है. If you remember, it was 3,800, now it has it has unwound by another 4,000 contracts. तो अभी 7,000 के contracts और भी कम हो गया है. So this was like 5-8 minutes back we just saw the live data. So what is it showing? That Nifty is holding better position. Nifty is holding 18,700 good support, even 18,650 also you can see a very good support holding, whereas resistance जो call writers थे वो भाग रहे हैं अपनी position से, and they are looking at the next strike price जहाँ पे वो safely अपनी position बिठा सके, ताकि Nifty अगर यहाँ से और 100 पॉइंट ऊपर बढ़ भी जाता है, so then where can I be safe. जैसे कि आप देख सकते हैं एंटायर डे में हाईएस्ट ओपन इंटरेस्ट ऑन द कॉल साइड मुझे 18,900 पे जाके दिख रहा है. सो विच इज ऑफ 36,000 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, एंड 18,750 में आप 20,000 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स यू कैन सी. सो आई सपोज हाउ यू इंटरप्रेट इज कि अभी इंट्राडे में 18,750 is a resistance according to this options data, and if 18,750 crosses ये जो 20,000 की पोजीशंस आपको दिख रही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, बिकॉज दिस इज द सेकंड हाईएस्ट आफ्टर दिस, अगर ये क्रॉस होता है ना 18,750, सो नेक्स्ट पोजीशंस शायद यहाँ पे आपको मिलेंगी, बट मतलब बढ़ते हुए नजर आ सकती है, which is at 18,900. So Nifty is holding a far better, stronger position you can see, and obviously I am also comparing this with my If I have to compare this same way for Bank Nifty is not showing you that strong data. The reason being Bank Nifty में 44,000 में तो चलो पुट में एडिशंस हो रहा है, मार्केट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे सपोर्ट होल्ड करने के लिए, बट 44,000 की कॉल में भी कुछ अनवाइंडिंग नहीं है. इंस्टेड 44,100 में भी एडिशंस बनते जा रहे हैं, 44,200 में भी एडिशंस हो रहा है, 44,300 में भी यू कैन सी अ लॉट ऑफ एडिशंस हैपनिंग. So Bank Nifty is comparatively facing a lot of intraday resistance in crossing certain levels such as 44,100 odd levels. On the downside, Bank Nifty is holding good support of in immediately is 44,000. उसके नीचे 43,900 की support अच्छी तरह से it is trying to hold. So this is going to be an important, interesting level to watch. Keep refreshing this data throughout the day to day and understand if your put positions are leading your call positions, and accordingly you can see your Bank Nifty making a move, whether Bank Nifty will break this 43,900 to 44,000 level of support, or whether it breaks a 44,000 to 44,100 resistance. So this is how you can look. Now this works for your stocks also, right? So if you go to the top of the page, you can see you can select any stock and it will work for all the stocks in the same way. Put and put open interest and call open interest. But the trick is to identify which stock perhaps we should look for the day. There is again another key. Just simply open Google and just type NSE open interest or OI spurt also. You can type. OI is just the short form abbreviation. So if I click on this, it will take me to those stocks for the day जहाँ पे futures में open interest में ज़्यादा आज buying selling या trading दिख रहा है या फिर open interest position बनते हुए नजर आ रहा है. So this is where I see spurt in open interest means which stock is giving me the maximum additions in open interest for the day. That is what a spurt means. So if I select, you have various options, but of course I'll select by buy underlying. Now I have to look at which stock. So FinNifty and Midcap Nifty being your indices, we will look at Tata Com. So Tata Com में आज बहुत फ्यूचर में ओपन इंटरेस्ट बहुत बढ़ रहा है. इट इज बिल्डिंग ऑन द good support, good side also. Let us click on Tata Com, or we can go to understand option market also. Option chain भी हम यहाँ पे open कर सकते हैं. Let us look at Tata Com. Since we saw Tata Com was coming as your top stock in OI spurt for the day, I have selected Tata Com and I will analyze the put and call positions through the option chain to understand the trend of Tata Com. Currently, spot is trading at 1585. I think this stock has rallied very well today. You can see a lot of positions today. 1500 say 1600. Of course, this stock you'll have to pick out only the liquid ones. So let's understand how the stock has moved. So I think it started the rally from 1520 odd levels जहाँ पे ये positions बनते जा रही थी during the day. It started, of course, because I've been observing the stock during the day. I remember the strike prices where the additions were taking place. You can see very strong additions. 1520 में भी अच्छी खासी आज additions बना है. 1540 में भी good positions. 1560 also you can see very good positions. 1580 is trying to build that position. 1600 also is trying to build the positions. Now whichever is my highest. Let's see 1500 put me. I can see intraday additions is 691, which is quite high. Then the unwinding that I can see at 1500 call. My put options or total open interest for this strike is 717 against 724. So obviously this is almost, you can say it's at par, but because you can see a lot of intraday additions happening today, perhaps the strike is going to win over the call. However, what you have to notice is since the stock is already trading at 1585, you must look at the ATM or the next levels. 1580 put option. This is 64 that contracts that has been added today. उसका total open interest भी 64 है. मतलब कि आज ही ये सारी positions बनी हैं. यहाँ पे 1580 की कॉल ऑप्शन में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ज्यादा है देन योर पुट ऑप्शंस which is 386. So it means that right now Tatacom will be facing some resistance in the range of 1580 to 1600. Why did I choose 1600? Because I can also see that 1600 put is showing me additions of 107 contracts, which is also the total contracts, but this has been added today. So today it is showing 1600 call has more and far more aggressive open interest additions, which is of 1100 contracts. So this side, obviously my call is winning more than my put options. So it means that Tatacom can face instant resistance in the range of 1580 to 1600. As long as this does not turn into a figure of minus, unwinding नहीं दिख रही है, 1600 के ऊपर stock is not sustaining, these positions will not call writers जो भी जितने भी हैं at this particular strike, they will not exit the position. So यहाँ पे थोड़ा fight होगा 1600 के आसपास. Tatacom will have a fight, but this is like since morning the stock has rallied. Now we can certainly look at some other stock also to understand. Let us choose one stock and we'll understand how to do it. Let us look at Godrej Properties. We go over here, we'll type out for Godrej Properties and done. So let us look at how the option chain for Godrej Property is looking. Your current price is 1476.5. This is your spot cash price. Now we look at the option chain and analyze 1476.5. 1480 becomes my at the money or instant the next immediate strike prices. So 1480 के put में I can see आज के day में intraday में 24 contracts have added. Total open interest 61 ही है. Against 1480 call option आज के day में 132 contracts add हुए हैं and total open interest is 192. Which is heavier, which is the higher side? Obviously your call is higher than your put options right now. Similarly, if I have to look at your 1500 option also, 1500 के put में hardly any option, कुछ भी additions है, कुछ भी नहीं है, 7 ही contracts add हुए हैं, but 1500 की call option में काफी तगड़ा additions हुआ है 122. But surprising thing would be to notice this figure. सबसे हाईएस्ट ओपन इंटरेस्ट आज कहाँ ऐड हो रहा है? दैट इज 1520 की कॉल ऑप्शन में. इट मींस दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक is trying to hold a instant support of 1460, 1480 भी पार करने की कोशिश कर रहा है. If it crosses 1480, then maybe it will test your next levels somewhere between 1500 to 1520 के बीच में. Because यही दो स्ट्राइक में you can see the सबसे ज़्यादा कॉल ऑप्शंस में सबसे ज़्यादा ओपन इंटरेस्ट ऐड हुए हैं. 1500 की कॉल ऑप्शंस में टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट 785 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, 1520 की कॉल ऑप्शन में टोटल 671. सो यहाँ पे पूरा आज फाइट होगा. 1480 अगर क्रॉस कर पाता है स्टॉक, सो देन यू कैन सी सम नेक्स्ट मूव कमिंग टू 1500 to 1520 odd levels. This is how you analyze your option chain. It has to be a constant measure of understanding open interest, understanding which stocks are giving you that intraday spurt, understanding the option chain before taking any position. Now, if it were to cross this particular level, then you can obviously understand that the stock can rally somewhere 1500 to 1520. Now, likewise, इसके बीच में अगर जाता है, then you can definitely take a position maybe in 1500 call option. You can do it in 1520 call option, because आप ये क्रॉस होते हुए you can see some more rally can be seen for this particular stock. But यहाँ आते आते उसको resistance मिल जाएगा अगर यहाँ पे continuous basis पे contracts add हो रहे हैं. So प्रॉब्लम होगा स्टॉक को ये लेवल क्रॉस करने के लिए. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल ऑल्सो व्हेन यू आर सिलेक्टिंग. because you are seeing the open interest is adding up on both the sides, call and put, call being heavier, so resistance भी बन सकता है, immediate support of 1460. So this is how you analyze and you can select your strike prices, understanding which strike you must go for, whether you are seeing a trend in the stock on the upside or the downside. If you are seeing it on the downside, you can buy a put option. If you're seeing on the upside, you can buy a call option. And now based on where the highest open interest additions are being taking place, that becomes a resistance, and obviously you can expect the stock or the indices to rally up to that level. A similar contrary position stands for your put side also. If you're seeing a lot of put unwinding happening, then the stock is probably losing support, and it has all these space for the stock to fall down ना, जहाँ पे नेक्स्ट पोजीशन बनते जाएंगे वहीं पे आपका वो सपोर्ट बनते जाएगा. Then if you look at option chain, it gives you कि पूरा महीने भर का इस स्टॉक में ट्रेडिंग रेंज क्या हो सकता है. That simply I'll just look at my total open interest on the put side कहाँ पे है और कॉल के साइड में कहाँ पे है, तो I'll make out कि ये पूरे महीने में शायद फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक ऑफ गोदरेज प्रॉपर्टी ये 1400 से लेके कुछ 1500 to 1520 के बीच में भी खेल सकता है, उसको क्रॉस करता है. देन इफ इट सस्टेन्स, ऑब्वियसली वी लुक एट the next resistance level. But this is how you can start out by understanding simply of option chain. And we'll just keep it simple, we'll just keep it till here. Now if there are any queries, any questions, I'll be happy to answer them all. So I can see somebody's raising your hand perhaps, but if you can type your question in the chat Q&A chat box, then I can read it out and answer it to everyone. So if there are any questions at all, please let me know. I can see a lot of questions. Let me just read it out one by one. So first is, okay, we've got many. Manish is asking, please explain why you choose polycab. It means we can sell 1580 call. I don't suppose it is for polycab, but 1580 was the option that I was showing you for maybe Godrej properties where we could see. Suppose that is what it is. But I don't think polycab I've given. I think it's more of a recommendation I've given today. So polycab, again, like I was choosing out a lot of open interest spurts, and polycab was in the morning. I had seen some spurt in polycab. Open interest, the way I showed you when I navigated you through the NSE website, and you went through, I took you to understand OI spurt, so I saw polycab. And of course there are a lot of other parameters also attached to why I had to choose a stock. Today was just two of those particular parameters, right? So understanding why I chose polycab, we'll have to definitely do a lot more understanding of these data patterns before I can explain. So let us just keep the Q&As today to understand of how the stock is working or the trend is looking, just on basis of what we have understood today. We have next question. Mr. Abhi is asking, explain use of spurts. So like I said, spurt means कि suddenly you're seeing some action taking place. So it means that उस particular stock में या फिर index में open interest में बहुत ज़्यादा action हो रहा है या फिर increase आपको दिख रहा है, बढ़ते हुए नजर आ रहा है. You can call it in different names. So that's what a spurt is. So the moment we see a lot of spurt happening in the particular stock, it means कि बहुत traders या फिर बहुत लोग positions बना रहे हैं, ओपन इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स वो लोग ऐड कर रहे हैं. सो दैट इज व्हाट अ स्पर्ट मींस. सो इफ यू आर एबल टू quickly catch the stocks which is showing you in those spurts, then I think that is how you can pick your stock for the day. You can understand where a lot of universal positions people are taking. So that's how your OI spurts helps. Okay, so we are asking how do we hedge against black swan event in case of writing options. So writing options or buying options will again, it will help you to understand where your total open interest is in which strike. Now whether to buy or whether to write and at what premium, to understand it is obviously it is connected to a lot more parameters like volatility or VIX. A lot of stuff also comes into the play. We'll keep that particular session for the next time. I think it'll be a little difficult for people, our audience, to understand exactly why what that black swan option is and how you can buy or sell against it or how you can hedge your position. So we have not come across to that. This was just basically understanding your option chain for the day. Okay, now somebody anonymous is asking, do we have to combine futures open interest along with this or simply option open interest is sufficient? You must combine. जैसे कि फर्स्ट वी अंडरस्टूड कि आपको NSE में ओपन इंटरेस्ट स्पर्ट कहाँ से दिख रहा है, सो यू अंडरस्टैंड विच स्टॉक्स यू कैन फिल्टर आउट फॉर द डे फॉर योर ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्ट taking a position purpose. Along with that, you can combine your option chain also to understand not all the call options or not all the stock options will give you that enough liquidity in put and call options. So sometimes you may just have to simply go by your open interest in futures. But if there are liquid stocks like large cap stocks like SBI, ITC, NTPC and so on, these are the good enough large cap stocks which gives you enough liquidity and a lot of options option chain also to understand for you whether you must combine your option chain with your open interest or not. But moment you combine both the data, option chain plus your open interest in futures, that gives you a far stronger position and reading into this stock. Somebody is asking any role of VIX here. Definitely VIX, we have explained in very basic in our previous webinars of what VIX actually indicates. VIX impacts your option premiums. अगर VIX बढ़ रहा है, आपके premiums expensive होते हैं, irrespective of whether it's a call option or a put option. अगर VIX गिर रहा है, so in that case premiums of the strike prices वो cheap हो जाते हैं, which is irrespective whether it's a call option or a put option. So that's how VIX plays a role. So VIX will not help you to understand कि option chain में open interest ज़्यादा ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, that is not related. VIX only helps you to understand whether your option premium of the particular strike is expensive or cheap. So I think we have covered this basic in previous webinars. Perhaps in some other live webinar we'll be able to cover this also and show you how to play in option premiums when your VIX is moving up and down. Right, so somebody is asking what time decided to enter the market. Once you analyze in the morning your open interest spurts for stocks, you analyze your option chain, you give it some time to understand where your additions are happening. Like give it 15 minutes or maybe half an hour to see whether your put options are adding more or your call options are adding more, and accordingly you can decide whether to enter in that particular stock at that particular point or not. If you are religiously seeing this option chain data on a daily basis, तो आपको हर दिन की एक आइडिया हो जाएगी कि whether कल के डेट में तो मुझे ये दिख रहा था ओपन इंटरेस्ट यहाँ पे ही था, आज वो क्रॉस कर गया है वो लेवल. So ideally obviously it gives me a better direction into that particular stock. So if you're doing this particular study religiously on a daily basis, it will give you a far easier and far better way to understand whether you should be entering into the stock right away or must you wait for some more time. So explain use of spurts in short again. So spurt again, I think if you're asking to short as in not the short. So spurts means जहाँ पे आपको open interest suddenly बढ़ते हुए नजर आ रहा है, अगर उसके साइड में you're seeing price भी ऊपर बढ़ रहा है, it means कि longs की तरफ positions बन रहे हैं. If you can see a lot of spurt happening in a particular open interest spurt is happening in some stock, यानी कि open interest contracts बढ़ रहा है but your price is falling down, then most likely people are taking a position on the short on a shorter view of that particular stock. So this is how spurts help. Spurt just simply means the level of the level of contracts that may have risen in that particular stock. Okay, Mr. Anurag is asking, can we say higher OI in call side means market will fall? You don't exactly say that if my call options have higher open interest and markets will fall. Rather, you say that if the open interest is at a particular strike on the call side, it means my resistance is going to be faced at that particular level. So if I say Nifty, you're seeing 18,800 is going to be where you can see a call option is adding a lot of open interest. It means that 18,800 is a resistance for me. If it crosses that, then well enough, it will rally some more. If it's not able to cross that, then it will come down from there. But it does not mean that if कॉल में ज़्यादा है तो मार्केट गिरेगा, पुट में ज़्यादा है तो मार्केट बढ़ेगा, वैसा नहीं है एग्जैक्टली। पुट में ज़्यादा है ओपन इंटरेस्ट तो आपको सपोर्ट बनता है, अगर कॉल में ज़्यादा है तो आपके लिए वो रेजिस्टेंस होता है। दैट्स हाउ यू एक्चुअली मस्ट लुक एट व्हाट ऑप्शन चेन इज। Again, people who are asking for your stop losses in option writing or option buying, we will get into that in the next live webinar where we'll try to combine your VIX, volatility, option premiums, and then we'll understand whether buying or selling is good for us as a strategy and what can be your trading targets and stop loss. So, but that would be on the next level. So next webinar. Today we've just kept it simple, understanding options chain. Okay, so can you explain Tata Steel and Bajaj Finance option chain? I think it's the same way again. You'll have to just open the Tata Steel, look at your spot price where it is currently, analyze your put options open interest and your call options open interest, and understand if your put options में ज़्यादा एडिशंस हो रहा है तो थोड़ा सपोर्ट बन सकता है, अगर कॉल्स में ज़्यादा बन रहा है तो वो रेजिस्टेंस बन सकता है. सो दैट्स हाउ यू कैन do that refreshing of the data of the option chain on a half an hour or 1 hour basis. If it's stock, then you can do it in 1 hour, 2 hours is also okay. If you're doing it in indices, you must at least do the refreshing of the data in half an hour, 1 hour to understand the trend. Tata Steel is quite लिक्विड काउंटर, सो आई डोंट थिंक कि आपको उसमें ऑप्शन चेन में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा उसमें एनालाइज करने में. बजाज फाइनेंस मे बी it's not, it's a midway, I'll say. I'm not saying that it's completely liquid. It has got a lot of liquidity. Understanding in terms of open interest, then I think Tata Steel if you analyze it, it'll be far better for you to instantly at a basic level understand how the stock trend will most likely move. And so once you've understood that, you can navigate your own understanding to Bajaj Finance also. Now last question we'll take. Okay, what to do if higher OI strike breached? So like I said, if your open interest on any particular strike is very high and वो level cross हो जाता है on either side, अगर कॉल के साइड में if it's breaching, if it gets breached, broken या फिर क्रॉस हो जाता है, it means कि मार्केट और ऊपर जाएगा. So हमारे उस पोजीशन में जो राइटर्स बैठे हैं, कॉल राइटर्स, वो पोजीशन काट के they'll try to come at a higher level strike. सिमिलर फॉर द पुट ऑप्शन, अगर पुट ऑप्शंस में मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा ओपन इंटरेस्ट हाई दिख रहा है एट एनी स्ट्राइक प्राइस और वो ब्रेक हो जाता है, इट मीन्स कि मार्केट या फिर वो पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक विल फॉल डाउन सम मोर एंड माय पुट राइटर्स एट अ हैड पोजीशन एट दैट पर्टिकुलर लेवल, दे विल लुक फॉर अ लोअर लेवल ऑफ स्ट्राइक प्राइस टू बिल्ड द पोजीशन. सो दैट्स हाउ if higher open interest is if that level breaches. However, if you're asking to just strike overall agar open interest, if you're asking if it gets breached, then that's a whole different study. It's nothing to do with your option chain, but I'm pretty sure that you're asking about the option chain strike breaches, right? So friends, I guess that's it. I can see a lot of other questions also. Maybe perhaps I can take it all the questions and we'll figure out a way where I can admit all the questions. I'll try to answer to all of them separately and we'll reach out to you. We'll have all your details. We'll definitely reach out to you with your specific questions and queries, right? So thank you so much for joining with us today. Hope this exercise has been useful. Of course, this is just one of the beginning, so we'll try to do a much better work next time, perhaps, if it helps you at all. And we'll give you various data points on and off during market hours, off the market hours, to get you well versed with the jargons, well versed with the data patterns, well versed with analysis and everything that we can do from our possible best end for you to help to understand the markets trends and analysis very clearly, right? So thank you so much everyone joining in.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.